everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney. Welcome to today's really fantastic paint along. This is our Phoenix inspired by Fawkes from Harry Potter in honor of mythical beasts and where to find them, which is coming out. This is part of a collab with Angela Anderson and Studio Silver Creek. If you check the iCard, which is the floating eye on your device, it's really tiny. Like it might look like a speck on your screen depending on the size of your phone screen. It clicks down, it's going to give you links to my collaborators so you can see their videos. We have a dragon in a suitcase.
Oh, yeah.
And a unicorn Petronis.
Yeah.
And a phoenix. So I feel like we're representing pretty well. I think Leanne and Angela and I did pretty good today. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hi, guys.
He's waving at you, but you can't see it. I wave for him. I'm his waving translator. I also have to show off, because I think this is such an important part of painting, my Sippy Sippy, which is my official merch.
Oh, yeah?
This is official. It's official Harry Potter merch.
Oh.
I got to show you guys the mug because I just think it's so cute. This is not sponsored by the mug, and I'm giving this company a really good shout out.
There it goes. We're going to go over and check that out.
See Hedwig here?
There we go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really like this mug.
Oh, too close.
I got this at Barnes & Noble the other day for this. Isn't that just really cool? And you can see the Harry Potter. My official merch. I don't know why. I guess I'm a dork enough where I feel like official merch is exciting. I don't know if you're like that. I'm like that. For unofficial merch, which my Phoenix sort of is. Well, mine is inspired by the book. Mm-hmm. And then also, my feelings, but I wanted to make sure that those who are movie-centric only would still be like, oh, yeah, I recognize those pheasant feathers and that shaping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Today's going to be easy. Materials are in the description below. There's a couple exchanges down there where you could do something or something. We'll talk about that when I put out the paint. We're going to have picture-in-picture. We have a traceable.
We do?
Yes, we do. We always try to have a traceable as long as Pinterest will work with me. You can always go to TheArtSherpa.com to find those traceables. And the reason why I, an art instructor, give traceables, a person who's worked in art for enough decades where so many, I don't know, maybe at 5 decades I'll start saying it again, but enough decades where I really know what I'm talking about. Tracing isn't cheating. I hear that all the time. Tracing is cheating.
No.
Tracing is not cheating.
No,
Tracing is an art skill. Not every painter actually draws. Not every artist draws. It's an art skill that you can become very proficient in. That's a lot of fun to learn. I wholly recommend going to a YouTube channel that teaches it. It's not cheating, and that fun uncle that you have that tells you it is was probably not an artist.
Well, I wanted to just say thank you. We started out, we have over 222 people here with us and 149 likes, and we just started this. So
just started. You guys are so it's the opposite of what you usually get where people are coming in and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I just like it. We got 149.
Thank you guys.
To say I don't know what it is, but I'm probably going to like it because it's Harry Potter and I'm hopeful. Kind of how we are all about the movie, right?
Yeah.
Mythical Beasts and I don't know where to find them. We're so all hopeful. I'm hopeful. Are you hopeful? I'm so hopeful.
Well, what are we going to be painting with today? What do we got in paint?
So today on our materials list, and this is pretty fun, I've got some Dog Sitting Purple. I got Titanium White. I've got Phthalo Blue, right? And look, if you live where you can't get Phthalo Blue, yes, you can exchange for Ultramarine if you need to. I have my Golden Glazing Liquid Gloss, which you guys know I love. I adore. If you're brand new to the channel, what this does is it slows down the drying time of my paint and lets me glaze, which is really transparent colors layered on each other. A lot of people like oils because they glaze. Well, acrylics glaze too. Mm-hmm. Now, I have put out an alizarin crimson. You could use any crimson. I have a cad red light and a cad yellow medium. On these 3 colors here, you can do some exchanges. Any crimson, I think, will work here. And if you just can't get a crimson, you can cool your red with a blue. With the blue over here, it will gray it out more than purple it, though, just so you know. On the cad red light, you could use medium or you can use peril. Peril red works equally well. And you can use hue. And the same with the cad yellow, you can use Hansa yellow or you can use hue. So, depending on the gift set that you got or what you have, I tell you my specific products in mediums, so you know exactly what I'm doing, but they're not like if you don't have this, I kick you out of the virtual class.
So Anne would like to know, when you say phthalo blue, are you using a shade or is that?
Okay, so phthalo is short because artists are lazy and we don't want to say phthalothicane blue every time. Just like we a lot of times say diox purple.
Yeah.
Remember that we were golden? They're like, could you just say diox? Because no one's like dioxazine. It's dioxazine purple and polyethicane, phthaloethicane blue. And in pro paints, you can purchase those in a green shade. I use green shade. Or you can purchase those in a red shade, which is real similar to ultramarine or a French ultramarine.
Okay.
So that's what that is. If
Gotcha.
you were just in the art store going, what's all this stuff? Why can't they just make it simple? Nice arrows. This blue. This one right here. Do I got to buy all 75 blues? There's a lot of blue. It's a worry. Now, again, I'm going to show you how I put everything in. Mm-hmm. But first, I like to do a couple wishes because I believe optimism and hope and all of that are super important. So I like to put them into my canvas.
Yeah.
So we like to take those from the community. Wishes are valid. They don't all have to be serious. They don't all have to be health related. They can be lighthearted. They can be serious. The first one I want to start, and this lady doesn't know me, but we met her the other day, and she was looking for her miniature Dachshund. Mm-hmm. And just in tears, just heartbroken. She just moved to the neighborhood and she was looking for her Dachshund. And I just want to put a wish in that her Dachshund makes it home because that's been on my heart all week. So that's my wish for the day.
And I've been capturing a bunch of other wishes here from our community out here. So
I'm doing these in watercolor pencils so they'll bleed into the paint.
Oh, nice.
So what other wishes can we add to our canvas because this is a magical canvas and all these wishes will be heard more.
Yes. Thorny Gate wishes to have a friend help fix their wheelchair. And I just want to put a wish out there that like awesome wheelchair, future is coming to you. Because I think that's something that's definitely worth putting a wish out for there for. Dominique wishes for pain relief and answers to some health issues. We got some birthdays, wishes that we're birthday. Some
well,
happy
we have a
birthdays.
big birthday shout out. We've got to do today. There's a birthday party today.
Oh yeah.
Do we have the name of that?
We have a couple birthday parties I think here today. So we'll come back to the birthdays in just a second. So Dominique's got multiple doctor's appointments coming up. Gail has some reviews that she would like to pass here. and Eva is battling depression up there in the colder regions and would like some support there, and so put some big art hugs out there to Eva as well.
If you guys are in a northern region and your sun has gone away and the snow has come in and the snow's come in such a way it stopped being cute snow and now it's just upsetting snow, and we have a lot of our community members going through this, I want to just add I have a wish for you that you paint bright sunny canvases so you can get through that, because I was born at 11,000 square feet and I kind of understand me.
At 11,000 square feet or altitude of 11,000?
Altitude, sorry. Yes, I was dying.
I was born over the entire
that was
plains.
a Jessica moment, wasn't it?
It's just, it's one of those subtle math nomenclature things that means different things.
It's things like that make me glad I'm never on a reality show.
Oh my gosh.
Because I would never live that nonsense down ever. I don't think I have Bethany Frankel's fortitude, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
At all. No, I was at the altitude of 11,000 feet, and so I remember cars disappearing for the winter.
So on those birthdays, we're going to wish them to Jessica and to let me scroll back up here.
There's a name I know you're going to have trouble saying. So happy birthday, Jessica. I hope it's beautiful. I hope you're surrounded by your friends.
To Jessica, okay, Michelle,
happy birthday.
I think, gosh, who else?
Do you have, okay, so there's a very specific birthday, and the name is really hard. Lisa has it.
So there's been a whole bunch of things. So Lisa, I'll ask her to shoot.
Because we can't miss that one, because that's happening today.
Okay, there's some birthdays that, oh my gosh, yes, I know what you mean. And I do.
We had a really great picture from the Renaissance Festival.
Yes, I will find that.
Which we loved. By the way,
yes,
that was fabulous.
Okay, I'll get the picture while we're doing this. So you go ahead.
Well, no, maybe I don't know. Is that okay? Find out if that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'll put the picture up in just a second. So you go ahead.
I'm going to start. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a half circle in on the right-hand side. I'm using my watercolor pencil, and I'm going to come down by eye, like about a third of the canvas, and I'm going to end it up at about a third of the canvas. If you were to divide this canvas into 1, 2, 3 thirds, I say a third. That way, if you're working an art journal page, you're not constrained to the sizes of our canvas. And that's a good thing when you're trying to resize things. I'm going to try to get Mom and I to talk about this on Sunday when we're all together, is that when you're trying to resize a picture in a canvas, kind of look at its distance, its proportions within the canvas, and make adjustments from there. So if you had an 8 by 10 journal page, you'd still go a third. Right? And this is a little over, but it's an eyeball kind of thing. So I know where my moon is. If you're really, really not one of the people who enjoy, ooh, what is this? This is a black pearl, number 10 bright, brand new sizing still flicking out of it. So as some of you know, I am on a brush journey again.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I got the birthday.
I'm dipping my brush in, and this is a brand new brush. If you ever get a brand new brush, one of the things is you may not know how much water it holds. And that's a big deal in acrylic paint. How much water do these bristles hold? Because you don't want them to be overly wet. So this holds a little bit more water, but not too much. So I've felt that, and I know what that is. I'm going to take just the tip of this over to my titanium white, and I'm going to make a soft gray. And that's the first. I'm dipping into my water, just the tip, just the edges of the brush, by the way, to thin the paint. And I'm going to come and paint my moon in. I'm going to work the edge of this bright. I like brights because they give me a good edge. And just go to the flat to paint this all in this gray. We're going to moon it up later, but right now all we have to do is put in a gray half circle. Gray half circle. So again, see how I just dipped just the edges?
Oh, yeah.
And if you feel like you've got too much extra, you can always drag there. The other thing I can do is I can do my medium. I just want to show you guys some water so that if you don't have the glazing medium yet, or you can't get the glazing medium, you're okay. So I'm just painting this. It's moving on me, guys.
It's wiggling. So once we get the moon,
does anyone notice I've got a very pottery hat on?
I did notice. I like your hat.
This is one of my very favorite hats.
When I was wiring you in earlier.
One of my very favorite hats. I got this for the shroom
camera just a touch.
lesson, and it's just one of my favorites. Is it messing with the camera?
No, I'm just adjusting one of my other cameras there, so I can have a little more.
So if you know, I'm back on my brush quest because there's some weird stuff happening in the world of brushes, especially over at Simply Simmons. And so I'm just now trying to make sure that we are covered.
Yeah.
And I'm testing stuff out. I feel like I'm on a talent search here. That was pretty good.
So what are you using there to put your... Okay, so I got a couple things here.
Okay.
So now, all right.
I'm going to get a sip of coffee anyway.
You get your
Is
sip
your
of
moon
coffee.
in? How's your moon doing?
How is the moon's doing?
Take a deep breath. I know a lot of you feel these Potter feels, and you're like, it's got to be the best painting ever.
Are we going to... so if you'll have to lean to your right when you're ready, and then I can bring in... We can wish
to my
Pecha.
right.
Yeah, to your right. And then... There they are. So happy birthday. Frank wrote us in and said they're celebrating Peach's birthday today, and they had sent in some pictures. So we wanted to say thank you guys for hanging out with us and being part of the community.
I need y'all to be my personal trainers. Everybody is really in shape. I have to tell you, it's been a long time since I've been able to go to a Renaissance fair and sport my belly.
Yeah, well, I loved all the top hats.
Sit-ups.
So anybody who can sport steampunk gear is awesome in my book.
Oh, and look, I got my ears too.
Yep.
I'm totally on team.
Yep.
I'm team elf ear.
So
can I be in the club?
So I want to wish you guys a happy birthday. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to painting with you more. So post up those pictures. We want to see that stuff happen. That goes for all of you guys. Definitely post up your pictures. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to let us see all the awesome Fawkes that you do.
So right here I have a Grand Prix Copper Ferrule number 10.
Grand Prix.
This is a natural bristle and synthetic bristle mix, which sometimes natural bristles are a little more challenging to use. But because it has a synthetic mix, it's less challenging. It has a really nice weight on the handle. I have to tell you, this is quite an instrument here. So I'm having sort of a blast. So I've tipped my brush in blue, and I'm pulling out some white. I'm going to this time use my glazing medium since I've shown you guys the water. And I'm going to come around my moon in a curved, flat stroke. When I get close to the edge of the moon, I'm going to switch to the edge of the brush and go around. Now, I have to tell you on this one, I have this I grabbed if you watch my live events at all. I don't know if it was a Periscope or a Facebook Live, but when I was at Texas Art Supply, because I felt it was a very steampunky brush. I even bought a fan from this line. Like, I need a fan brush, but it was so cool looking. I bought it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about it. Hey, look, there's Angela Anderson. How you
Hi,
doing,
Miss Angela?
She's hanging out here. I have been neglectful watching my chat. I've been over here helping pushing buttons.
That's okay. Angela's got things handled. She's going to do it in the Petronis. I really hope to see all 3 paintings. I really hope to see the Monster in the Suitcase, which I think is the most Mythical Beast inspired one in some sense, because it's like right from the movie. I want to see Petronises, like just all the unicorn Petronises, and I want to see Phoenixes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to see them all. Share them all. You can share them at TheArtSherpa.com. You can share them on Heart Party. You can share them at Angeluni. I don't share them anywhere you want.
You know what I really love?
Twitter, Instagram. You guys just go bananas sharing the Potter love. All right, I'm going to come over and get a little purple here, just on the tip. Can you see I pulled just that edge of the brush out to try to control the pigment?
No, you didn't get any water?
I didn't, because I still have a lot of the medium loaded.
The medium?
The glazing liquid.
Ah, okay. And so because of that, you don't need water.
I don't need water if I'm using the glazing liquid.
Okay, but if you're not using a glazing liquid,
Then you would do the water. And I'll show a mix again of this with water, just in case you don't have glazing liquid. And it's okay if you don't. Don't think that you can't paint because you don't got glazing liquid.
why are you using glazing liquid?
Because I'm spoiled.
And your studio's hot.
And my studio's really hot. I have, if you saw the panel of lights above me, you'd be very afraid. It's safe. It's OSHA and all that. It's just, there's a lot and they're shining down. And unlike Angela, who has this beautiful studio that's LED, mine are super, mine are super fluorescent. And so therefore, it's a little bit like being in an easy bake oven. All right, I'm going to come here and I'm going to show you if I were to just do it with water. See how just a bit of the bristles? Because these have synthetics in them, it doesn't overload in water the way natural ones tend to. Natural bristles will be quite stiff in the store, but when you get them wet, they soften up a lot. And then they tend to overhold water for most acrylic techniques, which is why they're considered oil brushes often more than acrylic brushes.
Oh.
But a really well-made brush like this is truly and honestly for both. Because you can see I'm not having any drips or sopping or any problem. Can you see that purple streaking that I'm getting there?
Yeah.
It's really nice. I like it. I'm going to come over and get a little blue. You get a little blue. I thought it was important to give our Fawkes kind of a celestial sky. Back to the blue. There's the load. I'm going to come right here. Now, when you're blending acrylic paint, while the paint is wet, if you see this here, I'm very lightly dusting the seams between these two planes. See how it blends?
Yeah.
That is when the acrylic paint is more inclined to blend. I'm going to show you the water one again. Dip the brush a little bit, drag off, pull out some white, grab a little blue, go to town. And I'm letting the streaks and everything happen on the canvas, and that also is helping my kind of celestial moon effect that I'm going for. These brush strokes are getting quite broad now down here.
Now, one of the things I always really enjoyed is when I go watch our community and they do sort of their their take on the painting, where they change it or mash it up.
I love that.
Or do.
Please always feel like you can do that.
It's really great. So I love when you guys to see what your take is on the painting. So please definitely post those up. And join us on theartsherpa.com, where there's lots of places to post it up there. There's everybody there hanging out in the chats after the show.
We have a chat going. Live chats going.
Live chat.
Live chats.
Because everybody wants to chat.
Now I'm pulling a little more purple on and a little more blue. You can see it kind of half and half. Almost, this reminds me of like a more Donna Dewberry load, one brush stroke. And I've got my glazing medium because I want some more streaking with my purple.
Ah.
No streaking me, but I'll streak my purple. I don't streak. That's good though.
I like it when you streak.
Yeah, that's a just you thing. That's a definitely, and that's not even shyness or anything. That's just presence to reality.
So you're just being silly now.
I am. So I'm just continuing this purple and blue mix where I've got, you can kind of see it here where half the brush is a little bit purple and half is blue.
Hold on.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Half of his tint is purple, half of it is blue. That's a lot of how I get away with this. And sometimes if you go to like a painting party place, a lot of what they do up front is the load of the brush.
Now, if they're see the spots that are forming there on if they're having that at home, is that normal?
So there's a couple things that create the spots. The spots aren't much like my iPhone right now, is not a totally simple. I'm grabbing some just white while I talk about this. So when you're getting spots on the canvas, one of the things that can happen is that right here, they're spotted because I don't have enough paint on the brush.
Okay.
Right? And the paint was dry instead of fluid. And you can make the paint fluid. I'll show you. I'll dip my brush in water and cover up those spots. By adding some water, I drag it off and come right here. See how they just go?
Oh, yeah.
So that's making the paint more fluid. However, some of these have a coating on them that resists paint. And when you make it more fluid now, it does a resist, like oil and water.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're seeing that is a coating that you're dealing with on the canvas, and you can either
I'm trying to catch
rinse your canvas. You can either, which is like literally I just go in the sink and I go spray it off and let it dry, which is nice because it'll tighten the drum. You can re-gesso the canvas, or you can buy a better canvas like Frederick's.
Gotcha.
Which never does that, ever, ever, ever. So I'm going to pull some purple and blue now just together. And this whole part to the end, I'm going to go much darker.
Gotcha.
This is the celestial part of the sky.
So there's a couple people who are asking for the links to the specific brushes that you're trying out.
The links.
Well, they would they want to know which ones you're using so they can.
Okay, so right now this is a Silver Grand Prix Bright. And it's got this cool, I don't know if you can tell, it's copper, and then this rusted green, and it's got a nice little blend here. It's really cool. Mini crimped ferrules, which basically means, why would you care about ferrule crimping? Because the water can't get in there and pop your brush as easily.
Interesting.
Still not supposed to leave your good brushes in water like you see over here.
Uh-huh.
It makes people so upset. I get a lot of notes on that.
Hey, little brush Kiki is here.
Hi, Kiki.
How's it going? I thought I saw some other little brushes here. I'm going to keep an eye out for some more little brushes.
I know Janine's little brush did a fabulous hairstyle recently, and Brooke's been up to some stuff. And hi, Kiki, and hi, Wyatt. And then, even though it's not relative to today, I just want to generally say hi to Emmy the Mastermind and the Crafty Twins.
Yeah. Now, there was a question, what is the difference between watercolor pencil and regular pencil?
Watercolor pencil has a water-soluble pigment in it. I'm switching to the Silver Black Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting you know what I'm doing. And I'm liking that better.
Oh. Gotta go chase that brush. Chase that brush.
Chase the brush.
My little robot camera's got to run around after it.
We're gonna do a toothbrush flick today for the basis of our stars. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
And you're going to be dancing a lot today.
Am I?
Yeah, because we're
How
all.
are we doing with our little ombre here?
Everybody's really loving the ombre. That's what I was going to tell you. We're like at 299, 298 people.
You know what happens when we get to if you're brand new here, and you're thinking, how long does it take to teach painting? In real time, it takes this amount of time.
It takes this amount of time.
But also, we have weird little rituals and habits, and one of them is that somebody told this joke once, and it caught on, which is that when we get to 300 people or 300 likes, we are Sherpa, kind of like we are Sparta, but with, less action scenes. And also less belly. The guys earlier from the birthday party, they could go in Sparta costume.
They totally could go in Sparta costumes. I think, they may be from
I just
Sparta.
think to myself, like, even my fitness thing, I don't think I had a six-pack that defined. I'm just like, and I don't think he painted that in. I think that was natural.
Yeah, that was just like, that was sit-ups is what that was.
So many sit-ups. I'm just like, that's a lot. Do you just think, like, how many sit-ups?
Yeah.
Everyone else, like Ryan Gosling, takes off his shirt and they're like, oh, and I'm like, gosh, that's a lot of sit-ups. I think I just have a problem. My reactions are so weird.
Oh, look, we are Sherpa.
Are we Sherpa?
We're totally Sherpa. We're going to be Sherpa all day. We almost got 300 likes as well. We're going to be the double Sherpa in no time.
Double Sherpa? Does that mean that we get a John?
I'm in pajamas, so I mean...
Can you hands?
I can hand dance. I can
Come
totally
and hand dance for the double Sherpa.
I will totally get some dance music going here.
Hopefully y'all have a nice tunnel blend here. Is it blown out at home? Because this should look very purple and blue and white.
Well, I'll come over and I'll do some adjustment here.
Okay, so on my screen it's blown out, but it could be my screen. Because what I have right now is just like the picture.
Yeah, so hold on just 2 seconds and I'm going to put
So what happens is sometimes the color balance on the camera is very hot.
Let me put some
music on would help, because when I dance to my own music, then everyone's like, we got to help you with your dance moves.
Can you hear that? There we go. Now, I'm going to go over here to my controller where I've got something. And I'm going to take that away. And I'll give you some of this. So, hey guys, I wanted to say thank you for joining us today. We really... Oh, can you even hear me? Can you even hear me over all that music? There we go. Just wanted to make sure...
I'm feeling fabulous.
Just wanted to make sure we said, we love you guys. Totally appreciate you coming and being here with us. And if you're not able to get up and dance, don't forget, wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Just remember that your body is alive, and that's what part of dancing is just remembering all that. I wanted to make sure that I'm looking over here, making sure I get my buttons pushed too. Wanted to make sure you guys join us on TheArtSherpa.com. We take our party there afterwards.
So when YouTube kicks you out, you have a place to still talk with your friends.
Totally do. And we have...
I'm sure they're going to come up with a feature where they just let you talk here indefinitely, but who knows when we're going to get it.
And I want you to know we've got 313 people and 316 people and 313 likes. So I'm just going to come over and I'm gonna go give Cinnamon a big hug. So hold on just a second.
I got a big hug. You have to put on a shirt. He's so funny. I am switching out my blue water right now because it'll mess up the whole next part of my painting. Oh. Shameless self-promotion.
Hey, look, I got to be able to promote.
Okay, who else is just... I'm so into this hat. I think this is my holiday hat.
Yes.
I got this from England. I had to wait a really long time to get it.
So, one of our friends was just in England.
Look, it's polka dotted on the inside. Just... All right, so I've got a sky.
Okay, I think we're gonna be dancing a lot here today, so we'll be coming back for some more of that.
And I have the weird kind of cheap toothbrush one gets from the dentist. This is like 50 cents with a not too soft bristle. It's a medium bristle. Everything is stiff bristled.
Huh.
Stiff bristled, and I'm gonna put out some fluid paint. Right? Because the viscosity of the paint really helps the journey. I'm gonna load up my brush. Right, you can see me kind of rubbing it around, getting it in there.
Mm-hmm.
This is where my manicure gets completely, like I have one, but if I did.
You get demanicured?
And now, if you're not used to making splatters, For goodness sakes, do it on a scratch piece of paper.
Oh, yeah, practice, practice, practice. Splatter that brush everywhere in your studio. See,
So you can see I'm just on the outside edge here making stars. Because I like to have some varying sizes of stars.
now,
And this is one load of my brush. Right? If you got some crazy splatter event, just dry the paint and paint over it.
now, I do want to warn you, splatter gets everywhere in your studio.
Yeah, it's not good for your
And
granite
if you just
countertops.
draw your attention right over here to this back wall and all the splatter that's over there, and you'll notice all the splatter on that.
For you at home painting over the
Everywhere
white
else.
carpet, this is important information for you. All right. So I've got my black and white paint here, and I kind of want to put my moon in. So I'm going to get some just white. And you know one little thing you can do? You can come over and get a little tip of yellow on your brush if you want. But you want it to barely tint. Barely tint your white.
Yeah.
And I'm just using that liquid I put out, so I'm not wasting it.
Alan splattered all over his office as well.
Yeah, Alan. You know what we're talking about. So you can kind of see I'm just going these flat kind of crosshatch marks, right? And what I'm trying to do when I make moons, what I'm always trying to do is kind of create lights and shadows, let a lot of the canvas show through underneath so that the surface looks really rough. We've done a bunch of moons before, but it's always kind of the same thing, which is like, let's just tell a story. See, I'm letting the gray paint show through. Let me come get the heavy bodied. When you do heavy bodied, it's a little easier to do dry brush than fluid.
Everyone is having a heart attack. They're wanting to know if that's a quilt hanging in the background, and it's not.
Oh, goodness, no.
No, it is a...
No, we didn't take a community quilt and then put paint on it.
No.
These were Pier 1 import curtains that I got on discount.
Yeah.
And I thought they were super pretty, but they were, I think, $10 a panel by the time we got out the door.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a price I can get paint on.
Yeah, we put all the community goodies go into a treasure
Safe.
chest. I have a little treasure chest that
Safe.
Yeah.
You are safe. So I'm going to take a little of my black now, and I'm going to make a darker color. I don't want it to be too black, but darker than my original moon. And I'm going to start creating, some craters and some shapes. If you pull your phone out, you can even often get inspired by actual moon patterns. All of the NASA reference photos have a Creative Commons to them where you can use them if you do attribution.
And there are, within
Just a weird thing you might not know that I didn't know.
Well, another thing you may not know is astronomers are often encouraged to draw the stars and the moon as they see it through the telescope, because it gives you a more meaningful understanding and connection with what you see and what you're doing. So you can often find that astronomers or even amateur astronomers have a really nice collection of moon drawings, because it's highly encouraged there within that community.
So I'm just trying to make a moon kind of feel to this little guy here.
Yeah.
Which is really, really about... Ooh, let's get some of this glazing. Too dry. My brush was too dry. My brush will never go dry again.
Anne would like to know what your wrist size is, which is an unusual request.
And I'm thinking
We'll
it's
measure.
7.5. But that could just be like I'm thinking that I'm 5'6", and I'm not. So let me check that.
I have a tape. I'll measure her in just a minute. But I've never had anyone ask that question, so I thought, I would ask. That's pretty interesting.
So we have that nice sort of moon texture in. Take a look. Does it feel good to you? Do you want to change it in any way? You can always go back and keep layering and layering and layering until you're happy. Now I'm going to sketch the next part in paint so you can see it. You go ahead and sketch it in like some type of chalk or charcoal or whatever. Oh, and if you're here, so you can show them measuring it. Woo, I'm big boned. That's a tight 6, though. 6.5. Yeah, I think it's to 7. Yeah, there you go. All right. So you sketch in with something that is impermanent, or use your transfer paper, or however you want to get the image on. Use the traceable, print it out big, transfer it on. I'm going to paint this in for you so you can see me do it and talk about how I get her done.
Sketch it.
Sketch it!
All right, I'll make Fawkes.
I actually did pretty good paint management here because all I have left is a little extra purple, which is what I need. That's what I need.
Oh, yeah. Stephanie's like, oh, this will be great background to mash up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great... there are lots of people who are loving how you've done this background.
Yeah, the background you can use for all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And also you can change it up, though. If you're going to take it into reds and yellows, don't add white to lighten it. Add yellow.
Oh, wait. Run that by me one more time?
If you want to switch this background, instead of blues and purples, you want it to be reds, yellows, and oranges.
Yeah.
You don't want to use white in the red parts to lighten the red. You want to use yellow to lighten the red and white to lighten the yellow.
Okay.
Just, you might not know that.
I didn't.
I'm going to sketch it in with yellow so you guys can really see it. That's highly risky, but I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it? All right, I'm going to run this
I'm
one.
going to do it. I'm trying to look where I had my original drawing. You guys have the reference photo here. And the first shape I'm going to make is kind of like an oblong-y little circle. That's what I do. He's an oblong-y little circle. And I'm sort of sketching that in so you can see that. So that's sort of my eggy.
How tall? Now that's all the measurements. How tall is Cinnamon?
I think it's officially that I'm 5'5".
5'5".
But I keep trying to make myself 5'6" because that means that I don't have as much weight to have to lose. I think it's really all that it is. I'm going to pull out a little line for the beak and curve the raptor beak down. I like to think of the eagle from the Muppets.
Oh, Holly said your undercoating lesson changed my life. I now am a successful pet portrait artist. Thank you, Sherpa.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you, Holly.
Yeah, thank you for telling us that and joining us with.
So I've just curved out a little underbeak here. The feathers and stuff that we're going to do, they're going to be back there in a minute, but we just got to get his little sketch in. And again, you're sketching in with chalk or something that you can change your mind on. I've decided, what the heck, let's just do paint. That'll be extra fun and stressful.
And Jade has the little brush Manfred with her. So
Hi,
hello.
Manfred.
How you doing? And we have 317 people and 337 likes with us today. So thank you guys all for coming and hanging out with us. We really love having you guys here. And I look forward to seeing all of these beautiful, beautiful birds come up. So
I am too. But I do want to tell them one little trick here.
Go tell them.
When you're doing a phoenix, a horse, a dragon, and you're trying to do the neck, this is just something I see people struggle with.
I'm going to zoom in on that.
So I've got this curve along this jawline here that comes down and comes out to the chest. I want to make sure that when I'm pulling the neck down, it's a very narrow taper between these two spaces, and that this line, even as it widens out, follows a parallel curve to this neck for it to look elegant. Very important on your dragons and your phoenixes and your horses. So on all of those, they're going to be wider down here. I don't generally give drawing lessons. And more tapered here. Can you see that little tube?
Yeah.
And it has a little curve to it. If I were to do a peacock, this is just longer, or goose, or swan.
So Ravetronic was asking.
Hi, Ravetronic.
She was like, do you do beginner streams? She's new to painting on this side of things.
Yes. Yeah. No, to me, this is, because we're really slowing down and we're really explaining and we're not going to try to rush the clock. I would say this is a great beginner space. But we do have one hoot lessons. They're in a playlist. My advice on that is that none of the skills are particularly overwhelmingly challenging, but what really creates success is if you're super excited about a painting and you really want to do it, because for every new painter, all paintings, my paintings, I'm sure if you asked her, Lockery would say it. I know Angela will say it. I know Leanne will say it. And Lindsay will say it. All paintings have like an ugly stage, except for watercolor paintings. They just have an ever prettier stage. But acrylic paintings have an ugly stage. And you've got to survive through it. You've got to just keep layering it till the painting comes together. There's this whole sort of like Indiana Jones invisible bridge walk of faith moment in your painting. You know, and I'm the sand you throw out on the bridge to think maybe probably it's. Is that a weird reference? I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop.
Why?
Now I'm going to curve this line up,
Uh-huh.
right? And imagine his little bone in here, like I like to. And then I'm going to make a little round counter curve and then arc off.
Oh, let me go back.
It's not a straight line off, it's an arc off. And that's what's going to help make this wing feel full and engaged.
Tonight in the Coliseum, it's an arc off.
It's an arc off.
So there are a bunch of little brushes that are all really happy to see you today. Some Miss Tenson's little brush just ran in the room saying, "Hello, Art Sherpa."
Hello, how are you, sweetie?
And Ryan and Zachary are here.
Hi, Brian and Zachary. I'm doing a counter curve here, so you see how my belly is here. I'm counter curving it and swooping down.
Okay, so remember
That's so here at the shoulder where the wing joint joins.
Yeah.
I'm counter curving and swooping down, and it makes this nice oval space right here. Can you see the oval in here?
Oh yeah.
This is room for a heart and some ribs and organs. Think about that when you're drawing even fantasy creatures, is do you have room for organs?
Room for organs.
Yeah.
Not like pipe organs.
Well, a lot of times when they're designing new creatures and stuff like that, they look at existing creatures and just put them together in surprising ways. So this is like somewhere between a raptor and a peacock. You know, like eagle. Okay, so the tail is going to come out in this nice wide thing because he's got a pheasanty little tail. I'm going to paint that all in so we can see that with my yellow. So I'm going to load up my brush with my CAD yellow. If you're want to save money or you're painting with kids, you should be painting hue. Hue. Don't eat your paint. Any of it.
You should, if you're having trouble with eating the paint, you probably should be checking into some.
I'm
other
just
things,
saying it's not the kids that eat the paint. It's
the
mom who puts it in the coffee. This is how you eat your paint. This is why I say it, because I've done this. So you're sitting there, not your kids know not to eat paint, but you're sitting there and you put your brush in your coffee and you think, well, you think the 3-second rule applies, but it doesn't with paint because a lot of the non-toxic paint ingredients on pro paints are actually historic paints, or they have like weird stuff in them like cobalt and lead and
don't do that.
cadmium.
So
don't drink your coffee if you put your brush in there, and wash your hands before you eat. It doesn't seep through your skin, but you know, if you were to prepare food right after.
So there's your public service
That's
announcement.
my public service announcement. Or just buy you and save $10.
And I see another. Janessa is 12, and she's been in
Hi.
She's been chatting with us today out here. So I did not know she was a little brush because she had been just chatting away.
Really?
As one of the Sherpettes in here, and so I was just kind of like,
She's a little brush Sherpette.
She is.
She's like on another level. The whole Phoenix is painted in yellow. If you're painting student paints right now, you may be finding some frustration. I'm wondering if anyone is painting like Artist Loft or Basics at the moment and finding this stage of painting the yellow over their sky very frustrating.
Yeah.
Because okay, I'm going to give you an example of what it would look like.
Okay.
If I were on Basics, I'm on Golden, so it's really pigment loaded. But if I were on Basics, this is what my coverage would look like.
Something more similar to that.
Yeah, it would. You'd be like, wait, hers looks like this, but mine is what? I can't even make paint cover other paint.
And it's not about that. It's about the paint just is less pigment.
It has less pigment in it and more polymer. And so when I'm painting my Golden, right, it's like this. I still might need to do a couple coats to really get it, but you can see I'm going to not need 3.
Now, Liquitex has a pro version as well.
Liquitex has a heavy-bodied paint, which is professional. It's very pigmented. But here's your trick. So I pull out some white.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing student paint, put it in your yellow. You don't want to make it ducky yellow. You just want some white in there because look at that coverage.
Yeah. So if you're using a student paint, and
I'm not going to take this brush stroke all the way out. I'm going to flare it out because we're going to be doing layer to get this fire effect. I just want this section of the wing to be base yellow, and about an inch of this wing to be base yellow.
Now that is with all, or you're going to find this kind of issue with most student grade paint.
Yeah,
right?
that's how they get the price down, is they give you less pigment.
So
and yellow being the worst culprit in the bunch.
So this isn't going to be unique to Liquitex Basics. It's going to be unique
No, Artist
all
Loft,
base.
Craft Paints, any of that, and that's only in the student lines. Liquitex Heavy Bodied is an on-point paint.
So
Okay, it's got pigment.
It's got all the same. You know,
Yeah, yeah. They just also happen to have a student line.
Yeah, and you don't want to get into the foo of the paint companies because they all have their own magic that they bring to it.
They all have. I have products that I like from each paint company, and you just, as artists, you just kind of go along and find what you love.
Yeah.
So, just embrace that. Here's my thing on paint companies. This is really what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a company that's been in business for a while? Do they have a website? Do they have a customer service line they respond to? So if anything is ever wrong with their product, are they going to care about it?
Yeah.
So all the companies that I will talk about, like Matisse or Liquitex or Golden, Teco Paint, Plaid, believe it or not, Mod Podge, these are all companies that have been in business for a little while. And I have actually, Windsor and Newton,
Yeah,
I have tested their customer services lines, and they get right back to me.
Yeah. So
That includes Matisse, which did it from Australia.
yeah, there's lots of great companies out there. There's,
Yeah.
So we encourage you to buy to your price point you can support because there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah. And just know your paint.
Yeah.
Just know your paint. It's no biggie. You don't have to paint with what I have to be successful. Lockery paints with Liquitex Basics.
Yeah.
Often.
And
Often,
It is
and does
really
not
good with those.
struggle. She just has,
Yeah.
she's worked it. She leans into it. So I've got this. I'm not going to take this yellow all the way down. This is just my first layer. My first layer, John. And then I'm going to do a weird thing. I'm going to take this little number 2 Sterling Studio Bright.
Okay.
And I'm going to load a little of my alizarin on here. I'm just looking for a small brush that's going to give me some control. And I'm going to draw in my legs, which on this back leg is going to be closer to the tail than the chest. So if this is midpoint, it's going to be down a little bit from midpoint every time. I'm going to take this line a little bit over my belly. I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to taper it in. There's going to be defining later, but I'm just trying to lay in the structure that I will be painting on. And you can see that I take it down to a point, right?
I do see that.
Right. And again, you guys don't have to draw. This is just for y'all painting along with me and those of you trying to freehand stuff. Because we talked about covering this more. Hopefully I don't get a lot of, you talked too long about the sketching it in. Because I think mostly it's good just to know how it's laid in. So I'm putting this in very carefully using the edge of my brush. Talons are going to come up and arc toward the moon. They're going to be very narrow at the claw and a little thicker at the base of the foot where the musculature and the tendons are going to be. This talon is going to curve down its opposing talon in a different direction. See, now you can see if those were to close, they're a clamp. Right?
Yep.
And then there's one that is, kind of hidden and foreshortened and off to the side here. That's the third. So there's your talon. Talons.
Yeah.
Ornithologists. Don't give me any grief. This is a phoenix.
Is it?
It's a phoenix.
It's a mythical creature?
It's a mythical creature, no grief.
Yes.
I just know that Angela Winsley got some stuff from the cherry tree people. I still think about that.
You still worry. 333 people and 360 likes. Oh my gosh, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Look at
This
that
was
over
one I
there.
really want to do. And I'm going to do one of the Potter themed one that's like one of our hour-longs.
Yeah.
That's just kind of real short that goes. That's on our second most requested Potter theme later. So, no worry, guys. And you might be able to talk Angela into some more Potter stuff. She's a huge Potter fan, as is Leanne.
Yeah.
If y'all think this is fun.
Yeah,
Share the video, get the word out, make it go viral. We'll feel like we have to paint more.
Yeah, I imagine that just any small amount of like coaxing, and you probably could get a whole pile of Potter stuff.
Yeah. Even if we call it Wizard Fantasy number 2.
Oh, cool. Oh, Christy had a good idea. Doing a mogwai.
Yes.
We should do that. Like,
That would be really funny.
what would be awesome is doing it the same way that you did your original owl painting with one eye, only it's a mogwai with just the eye, the nose, and the
I
ear.
would like that. That would be fun.
That would be so great.
Now, I'm going to do an interesting thing right here. I'm going to come up to this guy's forehead up here. I'll let you get the camera here, there. And I'm going to very lightly trace his little forehead with my brush.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to come back and I'm going to give him a stern eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
Painted a lot of eagles. And I painted a lot of raptors. And I'll tell you right now, they all got a stern little eyebrow. All those birds got this little muscle here. And they're looking disgruntled.
It's the genetic.
Yeah, it's just... They just did. Eagle does not approve. So I'm just going to kind of put this in. I will be working this a little bit later. Right? This is just a layer I want here.
You just like it?
No, I just need that color in that layer that we're going to build on so that his beak feels like it's a burning ember of fire. And we're going to talk a lot about how you paint things to look like they're on fire. Painting things to look like they're on fire is an important skill. I'm going to take this crimson. What I'm using is this crimson. This isn't a alizarin crimson, which I like quite much, but any crimson. So the difference between these reds, and I hope you can see it, is this red is more cool and this red is more warm.
Yep.
Red, cool. See, don't eat food now. Just how it happens. By the way, it doesn't just seep through my skin. I mean, I wouldn't want a cut on there or anything, but...
What are you doing over there?
I'm trying to get the cat off.
Oh.
There's all these people going, no! That's the end of Cinnamon! It's over for her. We're going to miss her so much. Sorry. All right, so now we're going to start talking about how we paint things to look like fire. Who wants to know that?
I do.
I want a warmer cup of coffee.
I don't even paint.
My head wig is cold.
Yeah.
My head wig did not deliver my coffee mail in time. Whoo, 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 whoo. It's cold mail from Hedwig. It's coffee mail. Ooh, sorry. I apologize to everybody who has to deal with my bad puns.
Look at that, I can push buttons.
You push buttons. Okay, let's everyone take a deep breath. This is just art. This is just our creative space. Let's talk a couple tips while John's getting coffee. I will switch out my water anytime I'm switching from blues and purples and blacks to whites and yellows because the pigment in the water can dull my paint. Weird thing you might not know if you'd never painted before could be happening to you at home where you're like, it's like I can't get this yellow to feel bright and cheerful. It could just be that your water is dirty. So I like to keep a couple cups of water around. Those of you that have been with me a while know that you have seen these cups, these plastic cups many, many times. So that's sort of my green thing is I use these plastic cups till they cease to function. And the reason I do plastic cups instead of glass cups is that somehow invariably my water cups always end up as a drinking glass. And since I do paint with real cadmium and I do paint with real cobalt, yeah, I got a real tube of cobalt and who knows about this Yinman thing. Anyways, I do paint with real pigments. I don't want those in my drinking cupboard. So that's how I prevent that. But if you wanted to do it in a glass jar and you had a lot of control over what ended up in your cupboard, unlike me who doesn't, then you could just use a glass jar. And then you could use paper towels, but I like to use towels. And then they go through stuff, but they make me happy. They're like my whoobies. My whoobies. And you just put those in the washing machine, and that's safe and that's okay. And another deep breath, because we forget to breathe when we're painting, don't we? Roll our shoulders, relax, because this is an intense week for those of us in the United States. It's really intense, and we're trying to just ignore it's happening. I feel like an ostrich with my head in the sand going, no, nobody, no
That's
more. Okay. I can't take any more. I was at my limit 2 months ago. just overloaded.
So Anne Marie has.
I have to go see Doctor Strange so bad just to
I want to
unwind.
see that. So Anne Marie has a 10-month-old little brush who's finger painting along, laughing away with you. So, hello, little brush.
Sweetie. Paint with your fingers. We should do a grown-up finger painting sometime. I don't know. All right. So to paint fire.
Paint. Oh, I gotta go back over.
Some things that you want to do when you're painting fire. I'm going to get this brush. This is a number 6 bright. Most of these are brights. I'm going to dip it in and drag off the extra water. This is a ruby satin. So, of course, it's perfect. I don't know why I say that like all. Of course it's perfect. But it is. And load that on the tip of your brush. There's a whole backstory there, which once again involves my mother. And I'm going to come here to the tip of the wing, the bend of the wing, and I'm going to dab in this white right here. So what I'm saying if I'm painting an animal on fire is that the hottest part of him is this wing. As it's moving forward, I don't know, getting oxygen in space, I suppose, it's absorbing more energy and therefore is the hottest part of the wing. You wouldn't normally necessarily think about that, but believe it or not, those weird little touches make a huge difference. The other place that has some heat in the wing, I feel would be here at the shoulder. So how I made this decision, because I designed him, I looked at designs of Fawkes, both the concept art and the original book cover art. Then I looked back at other phoenixes I had painted, and I realized what I'll do is I'll imagine this animal in real life, what it would be like on fire flying, and I'm thinking about him moving and where would hot spots be. John, I don't know, John, maybe John will back that I've had some scientific smartness here. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I feel like right here at his chest would be a hot spot, so I put one here.
And I think that's what you're doing is you're thinking about heat, about how heat moves, and then applying that to how you believe it would be, logically working in this fantasy creature, which is, it's
it's sort of one of those. It is because I say it is, but
right. But I mean, it's like when we're applying our pseudoscience, we want to do it so with the best efficacy as possible.
Well, we were just looking at that campfire. If you watch my Instagram at all. So now I'm going to blend this hot spot out, but I want to put it fairly out here as I do that. The next layer I'm going to have, and I'm going to need some more of my yellow. This was actually sent to me by a community member to try out.
How do you like it?
I love it. Just wonderful.
What is it?
It's cadmium yellow by M. Graham and Company.
M. Graham and Company.
I had not actually heard of them.
How is it covering?
Perfectly.
Neat.
And I love this. Water resistant when dry. May be immediately overpainted. Complete drying time. Drying will take longer. Caution. Contains cadmium. Do not spray. Apply.
All of them say that. Don't aerate it.
Yes, they do.
That's just no.
But notice it doesn't say don't get on your skin.
Yeah.
Because they would have to. But you do want to be sure that you recognize that you can have allergies to art products, and so be aware.
Sure.
So I'm taking this yellow and white. These are just things I think about now that I'm interacting with the world while I paint instead of my own studio.
You think about, gee, what would that chicken look like if it were on fire?
Yes. Well, I always thought about those things.
In a good kind of burning chicken way.
He's not a burning. He's more of a raptor / peacock pheasant. Okay, like what we're talking about here.
It's.
So now I'm going to start pulling this yellow. I've loaded my yellow. I'm working the edge of my bright, and I'm pulling these very long, tapered little feather-like brush strokes out of the wing into this space. And I want them to be a combo between, interestingly enough, fire and feathers. Thus the whole appeal of the Phoenix. And I like the Phoenix because I think for the Sherpettes, especially for people who paint with Heart Party, this is almost a really good symbol of what we do here because this is about rebirth. This is about never being finished, never being fully realized, but ever in transition, ever evolving, changing, and being reborn. And I think a lot of the stories that we hear from people reflect that, of people who are like, well, I used to think this about myself, but now in the context of painting, I think these new things about myself.
Yeah.
And I think when we approach life, we see things in a very permanent sense, that things will always be this or always be that, when really it's very unlikely it will always be anything. Like, it will not always be getting ready for this election. This will pass.
Well,
and then we'll be on to the next interesting thing.
And the whole community wanted to reach out and give you a big hug and let you know that there are 333 people and 400 likes. And that, I think, is just pretty awesome right there. So I'm gonna again, come over and give my wife a hug.
Feel like...
and why we have the 80s arcade speed dance music going, I don't know, but that's
us, man.
That's what
Welcome
pulled
to
us.
our YouTube channel.
I control the horizontal and vertical here. I'm sorry. It's what I do.
It is what you do. So I'm just really, really working him. When I come into his chest, I'm going to want to also kind of imply these flames. Don't forget to mix the white into the yellow to create a slightly hotter space here. As the fire moves out, it's going to darken.
Okay.
Now, this makes it really easy to paint anything on fire. Once you understand that it's going to darken as it moves away from its hottest source, it'll make it easier. I'm going to still put out some feathers here that are on fire, that are flaming out. And off the top of Mr. Fancy Pants' head here, we're going to do some longer feathers. This was really in the design of the character from the book, concept art, and all the stuff I found. So he wasn't quite a peacock, he wasn't quite a pheasant, and he wasn't quite a raptor. He's just not quite, John.
Just not quite?
Not quite. So that's very interesting. And a lot of times, in my phoenixes in the past, I've done them more like predatory birds.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people like to do them as peacocks or pheasants as their inspiration. And the thing to think about that is that when you're painting anything from your imagination, use real life as a reference to inspire you, to help you make design decisions.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we're told that, like, if we're working from our imagination, we shouldn't look at anything. But that's not actually true. You should just also listen to yourself while you're looking at stuff for reference. Pay attention to your own inspiration. But it's okay to take in information. The greatest artists do that, so
Yes.
definitely be inspired by them. The next cool thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my alizarin crimson. I'm going to come in it slightly from the opposite angle, and I'm going to create the basis of my darker fire.
Darker fire.
Darker fire. And if you need to, you can add a little purple to whatever crimson you have, right? If you don't have crimson and all you have is one of the cads, add the purple to the cad. So here's the thing here. Wherever purple engages with yellow, where it's not dry, it will gray out a little bit, but you're going to be okay here because we have so many layers.
So many layers.
So many. I'm going to take
I can-
these feathers quite long into space.
I gotta follow her with
Now, my alizarin crimson is a very transparent paint, which means that the light rays go through the paint, hit the canvas, and bounce back at me. Unlike my white, which is very opaque, so the light rays hit the paint surface and bounce back at me.
Now that yellow.
And it creates a very different effect on the canvas.
Now they're saying that the yellow is looking very green.
That's because the blue underneath is still shining through my yellow.
And that's true on the chest there too?
Yep, and it's going to get all worked out.
Okay.
Because layers.
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 So it'll come through.
One way that you could prevent that if you wanted to, would be to paint him all in white. That would be a way if you're just really struggling with him. Like if you're here and you're like, man, I can't get this to layer because the paint you're using won't layer opaquely like one. Wow. And actually, that's also your color balance, hun, because the purple isn't showing here.
So what I'll say is, let's look over here at this one. You can see your hat's there.
Yeah, it's a little more push, but yeah, you can still see it reflecting through.
Yeah.
And that's a lot about how the light bounces back and is read by the camera as well.
Yeah, so part of the on our screens here, part of what we're also juggling is the exposure.
Yeah,
you're making
it's
sure.
all those little things. So I am you can see the feathers go longer out here into space. Longer into space.
I'll see what I can do to adjust that main camera here. We'll see.
It's okay.
We'll see. I made a little adjustment. We'll see.
I can probably adjust the painting easier than you can adjust the camera.
Well, I don't know. I got some pretty cool cameras now.
So those are just things to think about when you're painting him and you're trying to decide how you want to paint him, right? Do you want to paint him white first? Are you painting a pro paint? If you're painting a pro paint, you can probably easily do some layers and cover it. Just through the creation of him, he's going to layer out. Like this is going to be so covered with paint. But, you've got to think about those things. Now, I'm not going to put that much crimson until later on his body. So I've got to start kind of putting the fire out some places here.
Oh, look, Frank just joined us. He just said thanks for the birthday shout out.
Really?
Yeah, so they were Sean Daniels and Picha are there from the pick. So
that's wonderful, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your birthday time with us.
Sorry, no, it's 4 people: Frank, Sean, Daniel, and Picha.
Yeah.
So
all of whom are now our fitness inspiration.
Yes. And for I have to I have some old Edwardian clothes that I'm going to update with some steampunky stuff. So
yeah.
There's some definite inspiration there happening. And 422 likes. Oh my gosh, thank you guys, everybody. Wow, that is so awesome.
We're actually not that much longer till we're done with him. We're just not rushing through because, again, I know a lot of you like to paint along live. And so we're just kind of being in our space, enjoying our time together.
So
I'm going to make sure that I'm covering all this down here so when I work the fire later, when I work the flames, and that might, down here, I'm thinking I'm going to need to add some purple to it just to get it as, see how much deeper that is?
Mm-hmm.
Just some of that needs to be deeper. It does. I'm trying to avoid the yellow so it doesn't gray out my color. Just something to do. Having fun, painting Fawkes. Collabing with my friends.
Just collabing?
Collabing.
What?
All right. So this part, to me, is the fun part of Fawkes.
See, look at the camera. See, I got some adjustment in there for you.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I did.
So this is the fun part of Fawkes. The first is that I've got to get the parts that have to be bright yellow, bright yellow.
Bright yellow, bright
I'm
yellow.
going to be coming back with some orange. And when you start putting the cat and the orange and all of that in, it gets crazy fun. I'll put out some of my glazing yummy liquid. Glazing yummy liquids.
Angela loves the collabs, she says.
I love the collab too. Did Leanne make today? Is she in the live?
John
is Leanne. If you've been here and John just hasn't seen you, that's just John.
It's me.
There's no shade, girl.
Is
There's
Leanne,
no shade.
You know what it is this, so that she says Silver Creek Studios.
Yes.
And so I'm always looking for it to say Leanne. And so it's
Studio Silver Creek.
Yeah, Studio Silver Creek. And she has the little flower icon, I think.
Yeah.
Was what if I recall correctly, her last one was.
In general. Why is there monkeys coming from the front room?
Because we have 3 children.
No, I mean like there's actual monkey noises. I'm concerned.
Again, 3 children.
Did they get a monkey? I'm worried. So I just want to make sure that this part of the wing that's very yellow is very, very bright. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And I might even need to make sure that I've got some white in there just to make sure that coverage is really, really good coverage. Then I'm going to taper these things together. Look at that nice blend going between those 2 spaces. It's fun stuff.
Now, what time is Angela scheduled here today?
I think it's 2.
2 o'clock, does that sound right? We'll make sure that we get a link up here.
I'm planning on it being 2. I'm painting at the speed where Angela's on at 2. If I messed up, girl, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Central.
Okay, then we're all good. We got
you have plenty of time here.
plenty of time. I'm going to add some white to help improve the coverage. And I'm going to just make sure that this space right here, just this one right here, is quite bright and vibrant. And I'm just painting nice little feather strokes back and forth here. Now I get to have some fun.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So I'm going to come over to my CAD.
And Colleen said, yeah, it is in the iCard, so cool. There we go. I just can't see my own iCard from back here.
And I'm going to, between my deep, dark, cool red and my bright yellow, start putting in this fabulous orange. I am coming and I'm loading my brush on the edge here. You can see it's loaded on the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just, and this is really about enjoying creating these little feathery strokes. Some of these little feathers here are going to feather off into space. These are, he's on fire. He's celestial. He knows the meaning of all things. He's not struggling with what is it all about.
He knows
what it's all about.
It's like, see my fire.
Yeah, about my fire and my beauty. I let my light shine. I don't dim my light to make others feel more comfortable.
If anyone was the sun, the phoenix is. There is no shadow, only light.
There is no shadow, only light in his world. His light is so bright it burns away the shadows. What a lovely thought. So I'm just going to just make sure that I'm creating these nice little feathery strokes.
Yeah.
I like my feathery strokes. A little bit right here. And I love the orange between...
Now, can you hold your brush still real quick there? Just right there. Now, I noticed that right there there's yellow and orange that are not mixed at all on there. So I'm going to zoom in on that and see, and so that they can see that that's really not mixed at all. Can you roll it over the other way too? Because you keep flipping it back and forth. See how there's just a touch of it there? Now, why is it you leave it not mixed like
because
that?
When it mixes on the canvas, I'm not painting a realistic oil. I'm painting more of an impressionism. And as it streaks and mixes on the canvas, it creates textural dimension and color dimension that I couldn't get if I was just trying to paint this one color at a time.
Gotcha.
And it would be very disturbing. I'm going to come get a lot more yellow on my brush and have this nice space between my light yellow and my orange yellow with now this soft orangey yellow. See this?
Oh, yeah.
And just blend it between the two. You may need to come and get yellow a lot to get this accomplished. But this is about telling this fire story. And you want to tell your fire story, your rebirth story.
Oh, you up there out of my screen? There he goes.
Okay, so I'm just making sure that that yellow-orange is merged between these two spaces. What I love about what we can do here on YouTube is it's a lot like a painting party, but we can just go deeper.
Yeah.
And you guys can pause and rewind me and actually see what I'm doing.
Indeed.
So nice. So I've got that right there, and I'm going to start working the fire around the rest of him. And his wings look pretty good right now.
Oh, yeah, they look pretty fly.
They're going to look better.
I'm
going to get a little of my red and a little of my yellow again.
So you're saying it's looking this good, and this is just the underpainting.
He just comes together in this beautiful, I am really, really going to, because he's important to you guys, we're not going to rush through. We're going to spend some time making him perfect. So I've got this great brush. This is the number 6 Bright. It's got an incredible edge, so I'm able to very easily pull out these little...
I'm going to plug another friend of ours, the Brush Guys. If you guys are on a brush quest yourself, go over to the Brush Guys at thebrushguys.com.
They have all these there. Everything I'm using, they've got there. And when they have the Simply Simmons, well, they always try to tell you guys.
Yes. You get on their mailing list, and they will tell you when they come in.
As soon as it is in, for as long as it's in.
Yeah, we met the Brush Guys through the community. They've always done a great job of taking care of you guys. That's why we suggest them. They've given us a coupon code to give you guys 5% off. The brush
Anything.
guys.
Any brushes that you buy. Doesn't
just
just have to be the Simply Simmons.
Yeah, just artsherpa.com, or you just put in ArtSherpa in your coupon code, and you get 5% off your entire purchase. So yeah, definitely go over there. Those guys are great, and the community
take
really
care
thinks,
of you.
yeah, can't speak highly enough of those guys.
So I'm just loading this sort of yellow-orange into the Phoenix, and you can see I'm starting to create his little flaming.
Yeah,
He's
you got
flaming.
texture there.
He's on fire. Let him be beautiful. Don't ask him to be dim. He needs to shine.
Yeah. Now you got some darker color there as you went underneath that roll.
Yes, I did. Thank you for catching that. I went and grabbed some more red, and it created some darkness. So when I saw that laid down, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to add some more here. It's a funny thing that you do.
Right.
You're
So
like, where can I put this color? You do that.
yeah. So when you talk about why you're doing that, why are you adding the color there that you are?
So I'm trying to create hot spots and cool spots on him, the way you might see on a sun. When I did the studies of him, I looked at a lot of fire. And one of the things that make things feel like it's on fire is it'll have hot spots like this, but then it'll also have cool spots.
And you're using that to imply sort of that roundness.
Yes, also implying that, he's round here. We're playing a dangerous game, I got to tell you. It's a dangerous game between shading and implying that he's an ethereal being made of something else.
Yes.
It's a dangerous game. So I just grabbed some more CAD, but my brush is fairly loaded with yellow. So this is just about creating these fiery feathers. Is he fabulous? I feel like he's fabulous.
I think everybody thinks he's pretty fabulous.
Let's everybody give him 2 snaps. Wait, you gotta give me the 2 snaps.
2 snaps? Okay.
Because he's fabulous. Around the world, back snap. You gotta do it right. Around the world and back snap.
I don't. All right, you've lost me now.
That's totally from comedy from the 80s. That was a reference. 2 people got it.
I was not there. I was dead at the time.
He was dead at the time.
Oh! Hildur, hi from Iceland.
Hi from Iceland.
Iceland.
Iceland has phoenixes.
They do. They have Icelandic phoenixes.
They do.
They're native to Iceland.
Be interesting to see one of these that's a fire and ice phoenix. No, I didn't mean to start something, and I just felt it. People are like, yes! How would I paint that as fire and ice?
Oh.
I didn't say it. I will deny it later. Delete all comments. So I'm just pulling this extra, and you can see the green is going away on him as I do this.
Oh, yeah.
Because the color and the pigment's coming in. And I'm going to be pulling this into his fabulous tail. Now, when I get into his tail...
Hot Mom and kids totally got it. Like, in living color, 2 snaps in this world.
Yay! Now I'm going to get a little more lyrical. And what I mean by that is that this is just something you can do. You might have a different way you paint his tail. I'm just talking about how I'm getting my effect. Is I'm going to kind of do S curves on my brush. I'm going to weave them together. You can see I curve down and curve up. And this sort of creates that feeling or that implied texture of flame. Flame.
Oh, flame.
And we want that.
There are lots of people who are very happy to learn how to paint flame.
That's making me crazy. Where did that thing come from?
Blendy.
Who has fruit?
It's Blendy. He
Is it
had
the chameleon.
Yeah, I gave him some banana, and the banana had some little fruit.
Ah! He does like his cucumber and his banana, though.
He
But I
does.
don't know. You may not get it again. Or that little guy is going to become an archival part of my painting in a minute. Live again! Sorry. Just saying. All right, so you can see I'm adding this fire.
Ooh.
And I'm being very, very, like calligraphy, like very...
So Alan's all asking
curvy.
technical questions. He's like, so would an ice phoenix be darker on the outside or on the inside? Would you use cool blues or warm blues? Would you, it's like there's like
Cool and warm blues, darker to the core, right?
Yeah, darker in the core.
Because
yep.
where it's thinner, where it's refined, that's where the light would shine through. Think about iceberg. So if I were to paint an ice phoenix or fire an ice phoenix, I would look at tones of ice.
Uh-huh.
right? And I would really look at icebergs
Yeah, there's
and
the
ice shelves.
and the ice hotel.
I want to go to the ice hotel.
Yes, I
They
wanna
should
go
sponsor me.
We should totally go do a paint-in at the ice hotel.
They should sponsor all of us.
Oh, I don't think they need to sponsor anybody. I think that like they book out their rooms like
I'm
years
sure,
in
but
advance.
I think that they would. I don't know that I would add a
I'm with you.
gravitas to their
I'm totally with you.
ice experience.
The-
Come on, sell them. Everybody sell them. Let's all meet up at the ice hotel.
Yes.
I'm not even sure I like cold that much, but I want to find out if I like it or not.
I want to sleep in the ice beds.
I'm with you. I am darkening my orange, you've noticed, as I'm going down.
I do.
And I'm not going to take this texture all the way down. Right? Not going to do that. Now we are going to rinse our brush. Rinse, 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 rinse. Tap, tap, tap. Got some beautiful color ranges here, don't we?
What effect will cold have on the painting process?
Now, this is where, and I won't lie to you, sometime when we do our different paint, I think we're going to do a paint quest on paint safety. I'm going to show to you, because you might be like, why do artists insist on this CAD thing? This is real CAD, and it just lives in a brighter color spectrum than the rest of all color. That's why we're so weird about it. I'm using it,
Well,
and you're going to be using the pure paint right here.
Let me get up here and take a look at that real close.
I'm going to go right over what I had before. You can, if you want, mix a little of your alizarin crimson with your CAD to create some blending down at the tip of the feathers, but you're going to really need to take this into your pure CADs, in just general, your pure cadmium paint, and it's going to just pop it. Pop these feathers. One cool thing that you can do is you can pull out a little pure CAD and then a smidge of yellow.
I'm sorry I missed that button there. Whoop.
And let it blend on the canvas, so it's like you've got a little pop of hotter fire in with the other fire. Just layering. Just layer your fire.
You can really see how that red just super pops.
It's super pops. Super pop, the red. The
Now,
red, the red.
Let's see here.
The red. Doesn't mean we're done with an even cooler hue.
And have you painted a lot in the cold?
I have in cold impacts acrylic paint. It does.
How does it impact it?
It does not have as good a flow, I believe. Let's check that with Chris. My experience says that I felt like my paint was less responsive and slicked to the canvas. And I would love to know, people in cold weather, if you found that if your house gets quite cold, if you have trouble with the responsiveness. And then I will also talk to a paint chemist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been in the mid 80s here in Houston.
So my issue is dryness in my studio. It's quite dry.
Well, and dryness is because we use air conditioners a lot in the studio.
And then I think the lamps do something to suck the moisture
right.
out of the air.
But it's normally in Houston, it's quite humid. We have like 50% humidity today as well. So
I'm just dabbing this cat around.
You
I
know,
want him to be super fabulous. He's super fabulous. Feel like you can layer this up.
that's so nice.
And I'm going to come here
Let me come in on that.
and just make sure that I've got this happening. There's more detail we'll be doing on his face that's really special, where it feels embery, but we've got to get this all laid in to do it. Don't get too crazy with your red. You've got to have it because it implies these are the flames that are flickering out. So you just got to be thinking about what you're doing.
So
And I'm just using the edge of my brush here. My brush is a very sharp edge, so it really helps my ability to make these feather strokes. If you need to, you can grab some yellow and make sure you're blending into it with the yellow, like I just did there.
Gotcha.
See? Wipe it off. Just get cat.
Huh. So Alan was saying that Nick Luero paints in snow with the acrylic. And, you know, I remember...
yeah, he would be a good one to ask because he really is in the most extreme art conditions. Like, it's one thing to say something, but it's another thing to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're in a mountain stream of ice, standing there in your waders with your little easel and the water's running around you and your amazing dog that listens to you is, I don't know, catching you food for dinner. His legend grows for me. He's become like Grizzly Adams.
It's like my vacation I want to plan is to go there.
He actually wrote us and he's like, come on out, we'll make some videos, we'll bushcraft. I'm like, if I get any way, like if we ever did a GoFundMe, it would be like to get me to Sweden to go paint with him to make videos.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think people would be like, that's a good GoFundMe. Let's see if the Sherpa can camp. And they got mosquitoes, they got nature, they got elks or moose or something. There's wildlife.
There's real wildlife up there.
There's real wildlife. Ragnarok. There's stuff.
Dragons and
trolls for sure.
Yeah.
And not cute trolls with fuzzy hair that sticks up in the air, like the kind that eat your face.
Yeah. And reindeer that eat mushrooms. That's actually real.
I know, that's so cool. So I'm bringing a little of this. Remember we talked about making cool spots in the fire?
Oh yeah.
So some of this will get into here because we're trying to create some cool spots, and I'll come back here and create another cool spot. See?
Ooh.
Isn't that fun how that creates a cool spot?
Yep.
You don't want to make too many cool spots because then it's not a healthy fire, but you want some of them. Now my brush is getting unresponsive, so I'm going to dip in water and drag off and come back here. I'm going to just keep, I want my fire. That feels. I'm going to come in and start working the bottom of the tail now. You work your tail can be as fabulous as you want. There's no limits to the fabulosity of your tail. And if you lose too much of your cool color, I can put it back. And I've got to come and put some cool color back through the piece of this kind of purple and red. So just know that you can too. Okay? This is one of those pieces, and it's not hard to paint. He's not challenging. You know, the dragon was a little challenging to paint. He's not actually challenging. It's just about you relaxing, getting, your happy beverage.
Yep.
Did I let this get cold again?
Did you? Is it cold?
I'm just not even going to speak about it. So I'm pulling this up here.
I'll come over and reheat that up for you.
Yeah, it's okay. We're actually really close to done.
I know.
We've got face, feet, and a little low thing here, low light, and we have a feet, and sparkly stars. So still pretty close to done. Not that many tasks between us and finished. Hang in. Right about now, if you're painting along with me in real time, your little guy's starting to look like, there was probably a moment when you were really questioning your fire, your life choices, why you picked up paint today. It happens to me. So I assume it can happen to anybody. I mean, when I was painting him, when I was designing him, remember I said he was going really wrong. Initially, when I was trying to work him out, he was going really wrong.
Yeah.
And I was really having to remember that all I had to do was see my process through, and it was going to be okay. So I'm going to take my alizarin crimson over to my cad red, back into my alizarin crimson. And I'm going to come here at the end and just make sure that I've got some of this I like this deep fire sort of going at the edge of the tail off the painting. And in some spaces in him. Like I'm going to come here.
Oh, let me come up here.
Right, at the wing. And just create another little layer of this.
Wow.
Not everywhere, just a little bit. Maybe a little bit right here. Now the translucency of this is really quite charming. Just a couple places. These are cool spots, and you don't want them everywhere.
Yeah.
Just some places.
Mona's totally up for a meetup in Sweden, but she's not up for tent camping.
No, I'm not either. I'm just like, I just feel like on a friendship level, I really probably ought to go and camp with Rick. John's going to have a blast. I'm going to be cold.
Yeah, I'll just be gone.
Huh?
I'll just be gone.
What will you be
Into
doing?
the woods.
Oh, really? Just to leave me to just spend fine.
To go shop and paint in the city?
No, I was going to go to the woods.
Okay, you're
and
coming.
try to paint
Well,
with
then-
Rick. That's my plan. He gave a casual invitation that we're going to completely over respond to.
It's going to be like that. Oh no, the Americans came.
I really thought I was probably pretty safe.
There was an ocean between
Then
us
they
when
did
I.
a GoFundMe. There was no, it was awkward.
There's this entire ocean between us when I made that initial offer. Hadn't thought it fully through.
So I'm just making sure that I've got some cool spots. Do you see how that pulls his little fire together?
It does.
You just, oh gosh, he looks really good.
What did Ruby Rob say? Pop, pop, pop.
Pop, pop, pop.
I think so.
Ruby Rod knows it all.
He does, man.
He does. All right, so I have this weird little Studio Bright. And what these are, sometimes I call them, sometimes they're called shaders, sometimes they're called brights, but they're, I don't know if you can see it. It's just, oh, is that just fresh coffee? You drink coffee cold, you don't know that? He does. This is actually, he's like, hey, I got some warm stuff. It's tepid. You would smack your barista. No, you would never smack a barista. Don't do it. I'm not encouraging that. I'm going to get my brush a little damp. And I'm going to get a little of my alizarin crimson in my cad. And I'm going to come make these feet seem more like they belong here. And I'm going to take a little feathering off. Like that he's got little fiery feathers. And create this second warmer space on his little foots. Oh, his little foots. He's got little foots. If you talk to your painting and baby talk, it will like you better. Little foots. And I'm going to just keep taking the cad and little flame here. I just want it to be a little on fire. Wider where it's joining his body. I'm going to have to put out a little more cad yellow for this next whole bit. Hopefully my white hasn't skinned over too much. Too much cad. Thank you. What is this? You're just proving the warmness of the coffee? Oh, yeah, you did. You have to take Hedwig, though. Say bye, Hedwig. I like Hedwig. I'm just too distracted to drink coffee. Now I'm going to get some yellow right on my brush. I haven't rinsed it. And I'm just going to very carefully blend an ombre on his talons into the cad red orange. And then I'm going to take a little of this yellow down the fire of his legs. See how I did that in the middle? You gave him some fire. Give him some fire. Let him shine. Don't take away people's light. Don't do that. Let them be their fabulous selves. I wipe my brush off.
You just wiped your brush off there?
I just wipe my brush off and pick up some more paint.
Why did you do that?
It was overloaded and I wanted a clean slate.
Oh.
That was a good question. Thank you, babe. So I've got a little of my alizarin crimson and my cad. Now I'm going to only take this color up to his belly because it's hidden on the other side of his body. So it wouldn't go up into him. It would be hidden. Some of this glazing medium so that it blends out. I really like that idea of going and painting with Rick now.
I do too.
That's such a good GoFundMe idea.
I think we should just figure out how to go. I don't even think it'll take that. Just work it out.
Okay, so look what I did.
Oh, what'd you do? Oh.
I drug paint across my canvas. Now I got to fix it later.
Oh, yeah, I see that down there.
Because I was resting my wrist, and it got in the paint, and now I got to fix it. I don't know if that ever happens to anybody, but that happens to me a lot. I'm going to wipe my brush off. I can fix this pretty easily once
What are you fixing?
it's dry. Got my yellow for my ombre, my talons. See? See how it makes them feel like they're a little bit part of him?
Yeah.
And then a little bit here of the fire coming off his little feet. Now, if you want more dimensionality there, definitely take a little of your purple over to your alizarin crimson, or even just your purple if you have to, and define your talons. I've got a little shadow under here into the claw, and then you could put one like a little bit there. See how that just defines a little talon? Not a big thing, but it can make a visual difference to you and everyone around you. Now, so two ways I can fix this, and I think I'm going to go for the easiest way, which is just because it's where I have fire already, going anyways. I just get a little yellow.
You just added some more.
I just add some more fire. If I couldn't add more fire, I would just go back and mix the colors and paint over it like we've done in other videos. You know, it's just remember in acrylic paint, once it's dry, you can pretty much fix anything.
Yeah.
We're going to work all the rest right here.
All right.
If your white is super see-through, guys, like I'm looking at mine right now, feeling like it is, be sure and go back and once it's really, really hard dry, hit those highlight spots just a bit with your white. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but in the painting it could be. Just say. So they really read as white, white, white. See?
Yeah.
Weird thing, makes a difference. I do it. Why not? This face needs some painting.
You gotta put some paint in there.
Painting. Painting means I'm going to take a little of my alizarin crimson over to my purple. You notice that I did not use black on this painting. I don't even know if I listed it as a color. I didn't use any. And I'm going to paint the whole eye in with this purple and alizarin. This is my chromatic black, which means I'm not using the actual color black. I'm using this deep value to represent black.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to make sure that I run a deep shadow here.
Ooh, I'm going to zoom in on those deep shadows. Oh,
right.
That's it. That's all zooming.
Right here. Maybe one here. And then I've got to create one around his beak. Deep shadow. This is the furthest away from that heat source. And then, because I really wanted this to feel like the character from the movie, he had these two pheasant feathers coming off here. So my best... Oh, I got to do those in CAD, I think. Nope, I did them in purple. How did I do those?
I'm not sure what you did them in.
I'm going to make two broader flat strokes coming out. I need some water. I might even use the width of my brush to make it easier. These are the pheasant feathers that I created for him that have that pheasant pattern. Just have them have a nice curve to it so that they show good. And then this one might curve down. All right. Isn't that looking great? So that's got to dry for a second. We'll be working all that space there a little bit. Well, I'm going to get some white. And I'm going to do a little white cheek here to create some heat here. And I'm going to add a little hot spot here and maybe right there. I'm going to get my yellow. And just make sure that I'm creating my next layer of paint here. Because layers, 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 especially around here, right? In the beak, get your CAD orange, maybe a little yellow, and let's start heating him up here. A little bit here. We may end up actually even going around his eye, darkening it up again in a little bit. But the first part is to get this beak in. And the space around his eye. I like to make sure that this is feathered here. See, that kind of makes the feathers feel blended in. Right, it's important. Get some just CAD red. Let's go around the beak, right next to the purple. And then we're going to get some just yellow right here. And come along and make a little kind of warm spot along the ridge of the beak.
That's so nice.
Isn't that looking good?
Yeah.
A little of the, maybe the yellow here and some white, and we'll run this so that it's got a better transition. It's just a hot spot.
You know, this is...
lose our hot spot.
No, not at all. It's looking really good.
The eye is super fun, in my opinion, to work. I'm going to come in with some of the red here. And just on the inside, in like almost a C shape, so that the deep purple is there. I'm going to curve in this light. Darn it!
Uh-oh.
I do this a lot.
Look at that right there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to fix that.
You got some goof. Can you clean that up before it gets dried?
It may be
Oh,
dry enough underneath to do this cleaning. Yeah, okay, it is.
that's a cool. I like when you're
So
able to
that's
do
when
that.
I just do the brush and clean water.
And
Got to make sure that the towel I'm about to use is clean as well.
look at that. That's just, I love how you're able to do that trick and just erase. Just whoosh.
Yeah. You're not ever really stuck, guys. So don't panic if it gets away from you, or at any point you're feeling like, well, that didn't go how I wanted it, or just be like, oh, it's okay. I've got my alizarin crimson. I'm going to put this back because I definitely want my shadow here.
It looked like the phoenix sneezed.
It did. It looked like phoenix boogers. I'm going to get a little yellow on the tip of my brush. You can kind of see it there in the tip. And at the forward space on the eye, I'm going to just create a small amount of highlight.
Oh, that's so nice.
I wipe my brush and I'm just sort of blending this in on the canvas. See how that's blending in?
Oh, yeah.
Just at the forward space of the eye. So this is everything we've ever done in the eye. We're just doing it on him.
Very small.
Very small.
Gotcha.
I'm going to also come here and sort of shave down the shadow a little bit. See that? Because I want it to be a little more
Pronounced. Ooh.
A little more refined.
That's nice.
I'm wiping my brush each time. I'm going to dip my brush in the corner of my white. And I'll come right here and give reflection.
Oh, ding.
And then he needs a little nostril. Otherwise, how can he like be all huffy-fuffy at you? You know. And true, he's in space and probably doesn't need air, but let's give him one of these anyways. Just a little dab of shadow. And then this is a good time if you've got to define any of this a little more. Like, see how I'm creating a little shadow around the eye?
Mm-hmm.
This is a good time to get that done. There we go.
Wow.
So now all we have to do is that sort of feather pattern on him. And how I did that was I just loaded one of these small brights.
Yeah.
And I painted the tip red, and then I just did the stripes to create the phoenix feather.
Oh, Kim has such a rough lot. Her husband is insisting that she go play D&D.
Oh, no.
Oh,
right
noes.
now? Kim, we're almost done. Tell him to give you 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes.
It's just 5 more minutes, because all we have to do is twinkle our stars.
Yeah.
I'm putting out some of my liquid, and I'm going to use, this is a tool that makes dots for nails. If you don't have a tool that makes dots for nails, the back of a small brush will work. I'm going to use my tool, but... So what I'm going to do is just create some more defined stars with this tool that are showing up a little bit on the night sky. See, they're just a little bit bigger. Let's put one right here so we can make that big, pretty star. We'll put one right here so we can have another big, pretty star. And this is just in case you got too fine a splatter. Here's another big, pretty star. We'll put it right here. This is just to give you some control. Also, if you're very patient, you could star a whole sky with one of these.
Oh, yeah.
If you felt like it. I don't know why you would, but if you felt like it, you could. And so I put these around amongst my other splatters so they don't stand out. It's like a camouflage.
Ah.
All right, so once I have those in, I'm going to take my small brush and I'm going to create a couple twinkles.
Some twinkles. Where are you going to twinkle first?
I'm going to twinkle up. I'll twinkle low first.
Okay, you're going to
Just
twinkle.
make sure my hand is good. Because I've got to rest on the canvas. How I twinkle is I do a one long line up. One long line down. Nice twinkle going there. A nice horizontal line. Hopefully, theoretically.
Oh, Leanne is here. There, I see her.
Who?
Leanne.
Hi, Leanne.
I saw her flower. And
You saw her flower go by?
Right as Mona was like, look, Leanne's here. And I'm like, oh, there it is. Here she is. I think she may have been here for a while earlier. I just, I'm not used to to seeing the flower and not her name attached to it. So I'm like, I'm not a very good host reader.
You're doing great. We all get it. So I'm just doing little circles around my twinkle star. Little partial circles. I'm going to come up here, and I guess we're going to twinkle this one. That's a line up. Line down. Line over. Line out. Diagonal ones. And then some circles radiating circles around. See? Little twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle.
Oh, so Mary Yoakums wants to know if we'll do a mogul or a chocobo. And she wasn't sure exactly what those were, but she, I think it's some sort of game. Her son wants to have some of those. And chocobo is I know that's a character from the Final Fantasy series. It's a big, giant bird thing that you ride on.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure what the other one is, though, offhand.
You're like, so many game things. I'm going to grab a little yellow and mix it into my white and just add a little yellow to my star glow.
Oh, man, you're so down. You go
That's
there.
okay. I'm going to do it up here,
Okay,
too.
do there.
Just little circles, a little dusting. This is like implying that these stars are casting off a yellowish light. You could do blue or purple or any color you wanted. Guess what? Sign time.
Oh, good. Where are you going to sign it at?
I think I did on the inside curve of this one, but now I did all this. I don't know I had the space, so I'm going to do it over here.
Where are you going to do it?
I'm going to do it on the back side.
On the back side.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to get my sign-in brush out. This is the Silver Ultra Mini 12/0. Any of these are fantastic. You should have they sell these in sets. I have them on my recommended brush list. The brush guys carry these. I have them, and I've seen them everywhere. I have them on my recommended brush guide.
Do ya?
I do, because I feel like, not just for signatures, but for weird face detail work and stuff like that. It's just good to have a set of them around. So I like to put my signature where it's interesting. I'm going to add a little yellow to it so it sort of feels like it's part of the canvas. Where it's interesting and not detractive. Where it's not taking away from the piece. I think that's important.
Yeah.
If you want to, it's okay to sign on the back.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you don't want to mess with your picture and you're like, I'm really happy with this and I don't want to
There you are.
put my picture anywhere, my hand signature anywhere, it is okay to sign the back of your canvas. That is acceptable art stuff. All right. Fawkes the Phoenix.
That is so awesome.
We did it.
Yeah, we did a really good time, too.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it didn't take us very long. I don't know how long it was. It didn't go. It didn't take. It wasn't like. Let me look over here and see if it's about 2 hours.
All right, so
yeah,
like
we're doing okay.
exactly like a painting party, like a sip and paint, what you'd expect.
Maybe not. Maybe it's less
Be
than that.
sure and check out Studio Silver Creek. I love the dragon in the suitcase. It's beyond cute. And head over to Angela. You got to get your Petronis on. And listen, this technique she's showing you with the unicorn, if you're like, man, I think I'm a deer Petronis or a fox Petronis, once you learn this unicorn, you can put here's a challenge for you, family portrait of Petronises.
Ooh.
So there's just no end to what you can do with this creativity, and there's no end to what you might imagine tomorrow. You're really in a space of self-discovery. You're just like this phoenix.
Yeah.
You're being reborn every day, starting over, learning new things about yourself. And that's true if you just started painting at 85.
Mm-hmm.
It is all still new while the sun still rises. So I hope you guys are being good to yourselves. If you're in the U.S., take deep breaths. It's almost over.
Now, before we, I know we got some extra time here. Before I know we've got a little extra time here before Angela goes live. So I was going to say,
some bang issues here.
I was going to have everyone jump over there to my friend Chris, who plays games, who's doing a 24-hour charity raise for Extra Life.
Oh!
And that's where they were gamers game for 24 hours to help raise awareness for a charity. And Extra Life unites thousands of players around the world in a 24-hour gaming marathon to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And it's a really great thing. And so we're going to throw his link up in there while you're waiting to go to the next thing. Go over and jump over here.
Yeah, definitely go visit Chris Plays Games while you're waiting for Angela. And remember, we can have a chat, after this whole day for you guys to chat, share, talk about TheArtSherpa.com.
TheArtSherpa.com. Please join us.
We never close
there.
that chat. We never kick you out the end of the video. So you can just go on and on and talk about everything you love about art. Love you guys. I want to say thank you to my fellow collaborators, Leanne and Angela. I love creating with you. I appreciate your positivity. I appreciate your support of your fellow artists. And I just appreciate the stuff you create in the world and the way you choose to do it. You ladies are amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. We love you guys.
See you with Easel.